Hey there, Ruth here, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm sharing my top 10 tips on introducing solids to your baby, and of course, throwing in my must-haves. It wouldn't be a Ruthie video without those. Tip number 1 is just to go at your baby's pace. Your pediatrician might start saying it's time to introduce solids anywhere between 4 and 6 months, but use your mommy gut. Whenever you feel like the baby's ready, are they showing signs? Are they pulling at your fork maybe and trying to eat what you're eating? Are they able to sit up with some support? One of the things that I like to do even before I introduce solids is to give my baby some frozen fruit to chew on. And I like to use this little Nature Bond, I don't know what this is called. We're gonna go with thing. They have a silicone cup at the end and you just put frozen fruits. I really like buying some frozen blueberries or strawberries, and I just let them munch on it. It's excellent for teething. There's so many different kinds out there, but honestly, these silicone ones are the best ones when it comes to cleaning, and it kind of gets them introduced to other foods and other tastes before you're really ready into the solid phase. I love pulling this out, especially when we're having dinner, so it gives you moms a few minutes to eat your meal. Tip number 2 is once you are starting, start slow. You don't need to rush it. I like to start with 1 meal a day and slowly work my way up to about 3 meals a day around the same time that you're having meals. Let's talk about my must-haves. First off, you don't need anything special. Don't go buy a fancy steamer baby machine food maker. Those are so overpriced and another gadget in your kitchen that I'm sure you don't need. You can make almost all of it just using the things you have in your house. Some of these OXO containers are really great. They're small enough that you can put even like 1 or 2 ounces of food in them, and they're airtight. And so I put these either in the fridge or freezer. They also travel great, so they lock pretty solid and they don't spill. So if I'm ever going somewhere, I can put some in here and just toss this in the diaper bag and I'm good to go. Next, you're gonna need some bowls. So I have the Munchkin bowls, and honestly, they're fine. But I actually prefer, I don't even know what the brand is, but I'll link it down below. But I got these off of Amazon. First of all, their suction is way better than the Munchkin, and they come with a lid. Like Munchkin, please just put a lid on it. The reason I love the lid is, let's say you start and you gave some to your baby and he didn't finish it. Stick a lid, put it in the fridge, and then give it to them later. And it's like instantly a container. With the bowls, you're probably gonna want some spoons. Now, don't go buying any kind of these fancy spoons. I don't know, in my mind, they're a little overrated. I really like the Munchkin, just like plain spoons. I think these come in like a set of 6 for $5 at Target, something like that. Also, you're gonna want some bibs. Now, I love the more structured bibs for the older children, but when they're a baby, they're still small. So I really like these Bumpkins. Yeah, Bumpkins bibs. They're really thin. The baby doesn't really feel them. They're super easy to clean. Like I said, they're small enough for the baby, and you can stick them in the wash or wipe them. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know that I don't like water wipes for actually wiping the baby's bottom, but I love, 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 love water wipes for solids and just like feeding in general. I think their moisture level is spot on to clean up any messes, wipe their face and hands, and so stock up on water wipes. I actually keep my bibs and water wipes together, and do you think I have enough? For mealtime, when you're kind of bringing your baby in, I absolutely love the Bumbo seat, and the reasons I like this are, number 1, when your baby still needs a little more support, I feel like this gives them the support they need to be able to sit. I do have a stock of high chair, and my baby will sit in it, but I think in the beginning this is a much better option, and then over time I will get him to sit in that. I also can stick this on the island and feed the baby this way. It's also very travel friendly. And lastly, the reason I like this one is this middle piece comes off, and then they can actually fit in here for a while. Tip number 3 is you want to introduce water whenever you're starting solids. This is my favorite sippy cup, and I'll link a video up here to show you why. But as you can see in this video, my son today, we gave it to him for the very first time, and you can see he instantly was able to hold it really well. And he actually at first kind of used it as a teether, but very quickly you can see here that he actually got it and was able to drink a little. And that's all that matters. Anytime you're introducing solids, it's really not about the amount they consume. It's more about exposing them to things. So Tip number 4, make it a family affair. Bring your children and your baby to do mealtime all together. Introducing the baby to kind of a family mealtime is only going to lead to further success and healthy eating habits down the line. Babies at this age get distracted really easily. So having them join at meal times, they're watching you eat and they're going to be curious to do the same. Tip number 5 is keep reintroducing a food even if they don't like it the first time. Again, this is your baby's very first time trying things. Yesterday, we gave my son broccoli for the first time and he made a face. He had 2 bites and was not into it. But then today, I gave him the same broccoli and he absolutely loved it, and I can even keep up with how quickly he wanted me to feed him. So tip number 6 is introduce one new food at a time and introduce it for about 3 days. So as I mentioned, yesterday we gave my son broccoli for the first time, and then today again. I'm gonna give him broccoli one more time tomorrow before I bring in anything else that's new. And the reason is you kind of want to keep an eye out for allergens. So I actually like to start with apples and pear purees. I just feel like they blend really well. And so you can get a pretty watery puree because that's what you're gonna want to start with. And then they also mix excellent with all kinds of vegetables. And so once I introduce apples or pears, the next time I may do some vegetables and I can mix it, and already we are getting a variety. Tip number 7 is definitely watch for allergens. They can be all kinds of allergic reactions. It could be as much as of a hive, maybe some stuffy nose, or they might be throwing up or nausea. Of course, if there's any severe allergies, like they're turning blue, they can't breathe, they have a very high fever, whatever it might be, call the doctor, call 911, go get help. There's different philosophies out there. There's tons. There's courses and all of those things. And honestly, I don't think any of those are necessary. I think you just start and go with it. But I like to do a mix of purees and baby-led weaning. The reason I do a mix is for a few reasons. Number 1, oftentimes with baby-led weaning, there might be some gagging involved that some people may confuse for choking, and that could be stressful for other caregivers. So giving purees allows maybe someone who's not as confident of feeding my son to be able to give them purees, and then I can focus more on the other items. It also gives me an ability to let my baby try all kinds of different foods. Some foods that I may not be comfortable giving them in a bigger portion, I can puree and give it to them that way. So sometimes when I am making my own baby food, I will leave some on the side that I've already steamed to give the baby to practice holding, and at the same time puree a bunch of it, and then they can actually get it in 2 different texture forms. Also, when I'm out of the house, I don't want to be dealing with bringing some food like that. I just bring a pouch with me and I'm good to go. If you are interested in baby-led weaning, I have found that this book is excellent, so I'll link that down below. It's Simple and Safe Baby-Led Weaning, and it's like how to integrate foods, master portion sizes, and identify allergens. So I think it's a really great introductory book, has lots of pictures of sizes and portions, but in general, you want to make sure it's over-steamed and really well cooked. And then in the beginning, you're gonna kind of stick with the palmer sizes, so things that are bigger than the baby's fist, because they'll grab it with their whole hand, but you want some on the other side so they can actually eat it. And then around 8 to 9 months, when they have their pincher skills, you'll cut things up into kind of chickpea size and allow them to eat it that way. Oftentimes, if I'm actually feeding the baby, I'll do both. I'll put some on the table where he can go ahead and grab it himself, but I'll also have some that I pureed that I can feed to him. I have just found that the mix of the two really give me the flexibility that I want. All right. Speaking of baby-led weaning, I had to show you my little silly gadget. Now, this is a gadget that I don't really use until they're maybe about a year old or something like that, but it's a grape slicer. I know it's so silly, but it's awesome. I use this to cut up blueberries, grapes, cherry tomatoes, whatever you might need. Grapes are, I think, one of the #1 choking hazards for children, and this just alleviates it. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put the grape inside. You just push the little button and it slices your grape into 4. And tip number 9 is offer baby food at different temperatures. So I really like to start, as I said, I really like to do purees. So I may warm those up, I may give them cold. Another food that I really like to start with is a baby yogurt. And then my final tip is just have fun with it. Get your camera out. Introducing solids is super fun. You're probably gonna get lots of cute pictures, so make sure you have your camera handy. And with that, that's my intro to solids. I hope these tips give you all the information you need so that you can get started with kind of giving your baby solids. Are you gonna be doing baby-led weaning? Are you doing a mix? Are you sticking with purees? Also let me know. And with that, happy eating, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.